What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Life of Lee podcast. This is episode 16, and this episode, I hope it's going to be a good episode. It's going to be quite a themed episode, if that's a word. I've got 5 grams of mushrooms, and originally I was going to take, for those of you that don't know this guy, Terence McKenna, and he's responsible for the early cultivation and research into psilocybin mushrooms, and him and his brother figured out how to map the spores or whatever it is and replicate it. I've not grown shrooms yet, so I've not really delved into the process, but I know McKenna, Terence and his brother Dennis were really responsible and at the forefront of that research. And he said the way to take shrooms is you take 5 dried grams in silent darkness, So I've been wanting to do this for about 7 years. Again, it ties back into my fascination, my early fascination when I was younger with Native Americans and that kind of shit, and vision quests and all that kind of stuff. And also I just like psychedelics. So I started taking shrooms 4 years ago, and had some incredibly transformative and profound experiences. It's beautiful. The way I explained this earlier, imagine, it's going to take a lot of imagination, but imagine, if you will, that you right now, you're just a cog, right? So see cogs, I messed that up. Cogs, they go in like that, you know what I'm saying? Right, so imagine you're just one of these cogs on a wheel, but your eyes are set looking straight out here. So all you see all day is, this is going round and around and around, my hands aren't circle, but all you see is the edge coming around and around. When you take shrooms, it's as if you get peeled back and you get to see the entire clockwork that you're a part of, and there's infinite gears, and there's all different sizes, and it's all set in these sacred geometrical patterns, and you're just this tiny little bit of it, and it lets you know that every decision you've ever made in some way was the right one, because it fit up perfectly with a cog somewhere else, you know what I mean? And it was all just part of a machine, and it's fascinating. What I'm going to do is, this episode, I'm going to do 15 minutes now, and then I'm going to leave, go down the woods, see what happens, and then I'll come back and I'll do another 15 minutes or even longer. So yeah, McKenna says the way to do it is 5 dried grams in silent darkness. That's when you really, get to the core of who you are, and it's, you're peeling back the layers, and you can deal with trauma, you can overcome stuff, you can, and it's all wrapped up in beautiful psychedelic geometrical patterns, and, just wonderment and understanding, and this feeling of, I don't even think empathy quite covers it. It's just uber connectivity to everything. You literally realise that everything, this lighter, is made up of atoms the exact same as me. It's got every right to be here as I do, you know what I mean? It's just because I'm sentient and I can talk about my experience, and this lighter can't even think about his experience, it doesn't matter. We're all just atoms at the end of the day, and energies, and stripped down to vibrations and that kind of stuff. So you are literally, it's not even that you're connected to everything, it's you are everything. Everything's in the same wave. It goes back to something I've said for years. We think we're solid entities, solid individual entities, but we're not. We're more like drops of food colouring in a swimming pool. Different colours that make different shapes and designs, but we're still liquid in liquid, moving through liquid, the same way we're atoms and, molecules moving through air molecules, and it's all just a big soup, but through our perceptions, we think we're individual. So I was going to do it in the house, just me, myself, and, go deep. But it is a fantastically beautiful day outside, and I love going down the woods, so I'm going down the woods, and we'll see what happens. There is always a worry, of course, of going hiking down the woods when no one knows where you're going to be, and taking psychedelics, especially when I've not done shrooms in 3 years, but I have been doing DMT quite regularly. So, and that's the thing, a shroom trip, it's beautiful, it comes on really nice, and it like sets you down really gently after it. There's no come down. It's like it takes you to the top of the mountain in a limousine, and then it brings you back down in a hang glider, and then you just gently go poof, back on the ground, and then that's you. And there's similarities between mushrooms and DMT, but it's as if a mushroom trip lasting like 7 hours, and it's a nice gentle up and down. DMT is like you take those 7 hours and just go into 20 minutes, and it's from like the third hit you just go. I was going to take some DMT down with me, but I want this to just be a mushroom experience. And that's the thing, like when I've done mushrooms before, it's always been with someone else. And like you come out of it just feeling rejuvenated, refreshed, and reset. And like I've said before, it's like when you wipe the cookies on your computer, all the little bits of information that you've built up for no reason, all the little outside influences that you've taken in that you really have no use for, but they still hang around and they still slightly, dictate how you approach things and that kind of stuff. All that burns away, and it's just you, exactly you as you need to be, as you want to be, as you are. And like it gives you this, it's like a pause button on any, see, like bad habits you've got and that kind of stuff. It gives you a second to step back from it, and you almost get to decide if you want to keep doing it. But the other side of the coin is you feel so great that you're like, I can keep smoking for a little while, I'll quit, in like a month's time or something. Or like, I can keep eating sugar, like, and it's just, you're still, but you're still giving in to yourself, and you can see that. You're no longer using the excuse of an addiction or, I can't help it or that kind of shit. You literally see that you are kidding yourself. So if I go into it knowing what I want to come out of it with, then it should give me the resetting of willpower to come out on the other side like healthier and making better decisions and that kind of stuff. Or I might freak out down the woods and die in some horrific way. It really is a roll of the dice, but that's living, you know what I'm saying? This is a life of leading, this is how we do it. Like literally there's acres and acres and acres and acres and acres and miles of woods down there, and I'll just go wherever my feet take me. I've got my bag packed up, I've got some water, I've got my hammock, I've got a notebook, a couple of pens in case some creativity takes me over, I've got some weed, and I could end up anywhere down here, and then anything could happen, like literally. So it's exciting, you know what I mean? I might come back with a wondrous tale, I might not come back at all. Like it's the 30th of May, May. Yeah, 30th of May 2020. This could be the end of Lee. This could be the start of a new beginning for Lee. I don't know. But you guys don't know either, and that's the exciting bit, you know what I mean? Like I was talking to my mate Gary about this, like midweek. I've had a really good week. I've been out back on the landscaping gig, and we were tearing down a wall, like me and my brother. It was a 90-foot, 5-foot wall, like 90-foot long, 5 foot. So we had to get in with pry bars, sledgehammers, that kind of stuff. The weather's been incredible. And then, so behind that was like 5 foot of mud going up to the level. So we had to chop like 2 feet off that because we're putting in a breeze block wall and finishing it off and that kind of shit. It's going to look really nice when it's done. And so that's what I've been doing for like the last 4 days. And originally when we started cutting into it, it was mud, it was dirt, it was shovels were going through it, but that was only for like half a foot, and then it's clay, and it's like some of it was solid clay, some of it was wet clay, and you're trying to throw shovels into this and it's just not happening. You're trying to use a pry bar and it's going through it like taffy. It was almost acting like a non-Newtonian fluid. Like any way you attacked it was just not fucking happening. So I ended up having to go in and literally shaving off like 2-inch segments for the pry bar. But it's been great. It's been, see, like just working for 4 days, just, I mean, tons of dirt I've moved. Like first day I had my brother out helping me. The last 3 days it was just me, and I'll take pictures. I've been taking pictures as we go, but the amount of fucking just ground that I've moved has been incredible, and I feel really good for it, other than my sunburn, which has been a nightmare. I don't know how I look on camera right now, but I'm guessing I'm pretty dark. So yeah, I've had a really good week, and I had a reason to start saying that. Maybe today will be good. I hope it will be good. And then tomorrow, if all goes well today, I've got a Spider-Man gig. Like the house we've been working on, there's kids, and it's quarantine and that kind of shit. And there's like a little dude, and he's been watching us work, and he loves the garden, so he's really fucking interested in what we're going to do to it. He's just been sitting like all day watching us, and I sometimes hire myself out for Spider-Man, as Spider-Man, for like birthday parties and corporate gigs and fucking gala days and that kind of shit. And because I've seen other dudes doing it, and they were just like standing going, "Hey, I'm Spider-Man," you know? But I can go in and like do flips and backflips and superhero landings, and the kids are like, "Holy shit, that is Spider-Man!" And it makes me feel great. Do you know what I mean? Like I'll be going out and doing flips anyway tomorrow, but if I can spend 10 minutes throwing on a Spider-Man costume, do a couple of flips, blow people's fucking minds, like little kids going, "Ah, Spider-Man!" High fives and shit. And that's the other thing. Like if this just didn't randomly pop up in my head to do this, like it would just be Sunday tomorrow for that kid. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what he might have got up to, but now it's going to be like fucking 20 years from now. Like, oh, remember that time Spider-Man came to us? You know, it's making memories for people, and it's something I can do. Like I trained how to learn how to backflip and side flip and front flip and wall flip and all this kind of shit, and I love doing it just for me. But if I can take just a skill that I just have now and do it when I'm going to be doing it anyway, but doing it in a slightly different way, you know, throw some fucking spandex on. And it's like, it blows people's minds, and they're like, whoa, like, this little kid might be like, holy shit, Spider-Man came to see me, and he's maybe seen parkour videos, so this might, like, put him on a journey to start learning parkour, and he might be the best fucking free runner in the world, who knows, but it wouldn't have happened if I'd just been like, ah, fuck it, it's Sunday, I'm just going to fucking sit and smoke weed. You know what I mean? It's going to be half an hour out of my day that might be, like, life-changing for this kid, or at least a fucking memory that will last forever. And that's what it's all about, man. That's all we're going to have. It goes back to I think I spoke about this in episode 1, the Mexican, in Mexican culture, they've got this concept of 3 deaths that you go through. The first death is when the first death you go through is the day you realise that you're going to die, whatever age you are, where you face your own mortality and you realise, shit, one day this is going to go. Maybe your grand dies or some shit when you're 6 and you're like, oh my god. And you know, you realise that will happen to you one day. The second death is when you physically die, you know, however that takes you out. 6 million ways to die, choose one. And then the third death is the last time that someone speaks your name. And that when I first heard this, I was like, yo, some heavy dope right there, man. I was probably high. But it resonated with me on such a level, like, and it's something I'd never thought about before. You know, you take guys like Socrates and Plato and Jesus, like thousands of years, and people are still fucking writing books, still chatting their names, still fucking quoting this motherfucker. Did you see the status that Plato put up, man? Fuck. Imagine if like these guys were alive today and they had Twitter and shit. They're like, I think, therefore I am. You know what I mean? 4 million retweets and likes and shit. But yeah, so, and that's what, and you can make memories with like, traditionally, you know, you can have a family and, you know, your kids will have kids and they'll speak your name and blah, blah, blah. Or you can go out and just fuck the world up in a positive way. Do you know what I mean? Just make shit happen. Just fucking, boom, I'm going to do this, and shit, I can do this, boom, I'll make that happen. You know, just go out and do stuff that will make people go, oh, one day we had fucking blah, 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 and blah, 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 and they'll tell stories of you, and this kind of, like that, for me, that's what it's about, to touch as many people, to have as many people not talk about you even in a positive way, but just to, you know, bring you up in conversation and to be like, oh yeah, that's a guy that's doing something, whatever the fuck it is. But yeah, we're almost at the 15-minute mark, and it's 25 to 1. I was going to leave it a wee bit later and stay down there till like sunset, but I also don't want to be coming back when it's like in any way dusky or some kind of shit. Just Like as nonchalant as I act about this kind of stuff, like, oh, I'm just gonna go hiking down the woods and take psychedelics the same way I've done with DMT. Like I am as safe as can be. I am as mentally prepared as can be for it. You know, it's not just a I'm gonna go get mad with it, man. You know, it's much more thought out than that. But there's always that little bit of trepidation and fear. But I also know I'm pretty sure at some point, you know, I'm gonna be back sitting in this chair, and whatever happened happened, and I'll be back and I'll be comfortable and I'll be here. So you know, I'm pretty sure it'll be fine. And that's what I always keep in my mind. But anyways, I've got stuff to do, ladies and gents. So that was part 1 of episode 16, and I have no idea what part 2 is going to be. That's what I was going to say. That's how I had a great week. I was working all week, and then after the second day, one of the guys I was working with had like 2 quads, like two 250 big kind of quads. So me and my brother and Mitch jumped on the quads and went up a mountain, and it was fucking epic. I'll put footage in here. I'll use that as an interlude, right? Yeah, that'll do. Right, peace out. And we are riding in the mountains. Nearly lost it there. Check out this view. What's going on, guys? So, a couple of things. Number one, this is now 2 days later, okay? So the trip was on Saturday. Yesterday I had a bunch of stuff to do. I edited all the other footage, and I was going to film like a little insert to put in at the end, but I feel I need to put it in now before you see the footage so I can explain a couple things. Also, I have my tripods in the car and I cannot be fucked going out and getting it, so you'll have to make do with a shaky angle. But compared to some of the footage that you're about to see, this right now will look like it was shot by fucking Scorsese. Shit, you know. So, let me take you through the trip. Now, a couple of things that I want you to remember before you see this footage, right? There's a bit at the start where I'm talking about eating them, and I say that when I poured it into my mouth, it turned into a powder, which is wrong. It already was a powder, and when I poured it into my mouth, it turned into a paste, like a concrete paste, like really rough toothpaste without any of the minty fun, you know. And it was disgusting. It was fucking disgusting. But you know that it's almost part of the process, you know. Only the brave. I'm trying to get more comfortable so I can just ramble on for a couple of minutes. I'm not going to be here long because I've still got other shit to do, and I had a long day at work, and it's already fucking busy. Anyway, I ate the shrooms. I consumed the shroom. I say that in the video that made me laugh. And sat in the hammock for a bit, smoked a joint. I was talking to myself like incessant. Oops. What's going on? I was trying to set this better, and I turned it off instead. So, consume the shroom. I need to get a t-shirt printed with that on it and a nice design. I really do. Sat for a bit, and then it started to come on, basically. I started to get pretty nice closed eye visuals. It wasn't sacred geometry in a way. It was more like a never-ending cascade of church, like archways. That's the closest approximation my mind can come to right now. But that was very nice. I was sitting there in the lovely fucking sun, barely a cloud in the sky. Just really nice day. And then things started to get a you know, I couldn't hold on to my thoughts, and then oh, it's so jumbled up now. I'll try and just tell you everything that happened, but I don't know exactly what order it happened in because I was in the tree, and then it was windy, and then I moved to like a flat bit of grass, and that's where most of the fucked up shit happened. And then I moved on, and I was on the move, and I was making my way through the jungle, and that was pretty sketchy. Little disclaimer before we go into this: yes, shouldn't have went down here myself. Completely fucking stupid, but I had to go down here myself, otherwise this wouldn't have happened and I wouldn't be talking to you now. So, and I made it through, so I don't know. But if you're going to do it, don't do it yourself. Unless you feel you have to do it yourself. I don't know. I'm not advocating drugs, but at the same time, you do you. Yeah, so it started to come on and I couldn't hold on to thoughts. And I rolled a joint, which was hilarious because I was just starting to lose grasp, but I didn't know that's what was happening at the time, and I just found the whole situation hilarious. Yeah, that's the other thing. There's a bit where I'm lying there and I go, "Hey guys, I'm an hour into a remarkable." I can't remember what word I used. We'll say it's remarkable. I don't think it is. Though. I'm lying there and go, I'm an hour into a remarkable, and I meant to say mushroom trip, but I didn't get that far. I started laughing, and you'll see the video. And there's other just incoherent stuff that I say throughout that I can't tell you what I said. Um, yeah, so rolled a joint, and it just baffled me. And then I rolled around for a bit, was staring at the sky. I could see like fractals, but it was like ghost fractals that held up the sky. It was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And then I tried to roll another joint, right? And I had everything laid out in front of me. I had my tray, I had my grinder, I had the skins, I had smokes, I had the weed. It was all there, and I couldn't do it, ladies and gents. I tried for roughly an hour, and then I admitted defeat. And what was happening was I was getting distracted by my own thoughts to such an extent that I would be in this moment, but I would be so fascinated by this moment that I would miss the next moment. So I would revert back to the moment I'd missed, and then to be catapulted into the next moment, to be astonished with wonder again that I was present in that moment, and then consequently present in the next moment. And this, like, just total awareness of your presence. And that's what it is, total awareness, not being aware of anything else other than your presence, not your thought process, not your mindful chatter or whatever, but just you being you in the moment. That's what was taking up my entire fucking concentration. I didn't realise that before. That was a revelation myself. So that went on for a bit. But then I went through some hysterical laughter. Like, I thought I was dying kind of laughter. And at one point I was laughing so much, and I thought to myself, if anyone walks by, the only thing I can really say is, like, check out my podcast. And then I thought to myself, imagine if you were just walking down the woods and you met someone clearly off their face, on drugs, on something, rolling around, pissing themselves laughing, and the only thing they could say was, I'm all good, go and watch my podcast. I mean, I'd probably go and watch that podcast if I'm being honest, and maybe the footage you're about to see will draw some viewers in. I don't know. So then, ladies and gents, then I get stuck in a time bubble, and it wasn't nice. And I don't know how long I was in the time bubble before I realised that it was a time bubble, and I was reliving the same maybe 2.5, 3 seconds over. I would walk into it. I would walk into a moment, and then I would walk into that moment, and I would walk into that moment, and then I would walk into that moment. And it took me eons to realise that I was doing this. But then when I did realise what was happening, I had the realization, but it was a detached realization. And sorry, it wasn't even, it was a detached realization, but it was from an observe, it was a detached realization from an observation point of view. There you go. And so I realized that what was happening. I was trapped in a moment. I was trapped in a time bubble, but I was disconnected from self. So I couldn't implement in that. I couldn't implement that knowledge into my consciousness. So I couldn't come out of it. But then eventually I was rejoined with my consciousness completely, and I was able to pull myself out of it. And there was one point where I understood everything. I understood absolutely everything, how every single interaction between every molecule and atom has to happen to enable every other interaction between every other molecule and atom. And that extrapolates upwards to every conversation you have with something, every good thing that happens to you, every bad thing that happens to you, every good thing you do, every bad thing you do, all had to happen so that everything else could happen exactly how it's meant to happen. And I could see all this like set out in front of me. And there was a point where I thought, I'm going to understand myself out of existence. And that's it. It was this real clear thought that you can understand yourself out of this reality if you just, if you don't buy into this reality and you just see, all right, it's just basically a stack of dominoes and each consequent action affects each next, blah, 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 blah. All right. And you could see the whole thing going. And once you've seen the whole thing, it's like, well, I don't need to go through the process. I can just. But if you understood yourself out of existence, then there would be a blank space in the dominoes, and the continuation wouldn't happen. So there was a lot going on, to say the least. And then I got stuck in a kind of purgatory. I can't even describe it. It was like being in a hall of mirrors, but not understanding that any of the reflections were me. But each reflection was also a shared consciousness that couldn't understand that each reflection was me. But also each reflection was also a shared consciousness, like that, on and on and on and on. And then I got to a point where I was completely sure, 100% that I died, and I was in some kind of hell. And I can't describe that again. It was just another time bending thing, but it was time is not linear in the way we think time is being a road almost. All right, I was born at this bus stop, and I was, by the time I got to that bus stop, I was fucking 10 or 20 or 30, and then I died 80 mile years down the road. We think it's like that, but it's not. It's more like movies. We think films are smooth motion, but they're not. They're individual frames, 24 frames a second or higher, or sometimes lower, that are just projected quickly enough to give us the illusion of movement. And this reality is the exact same. It's segmented. There's frames, and what was happening was, in this complete awareness, I was seeing the space between the frames, and not only seeing the space between, but it's as if, and I think the space between the frames is almost to do with processing power. Again, if we relate this to simulation hypothesis, like, you probably could replicate smooth motion, but if you only had to do every other frame, then that halves your computing power. But what happens is, in the frames in between, we're not active, we're not activated, so we're blank half the time, if you know what I mean. But it's like blinking. We don't notice when we blink. Our brain just, you know, and maybe that's not why we blink, but it's very similar to that. Anyway, so that went on for a bit, and then I packed up my stuff. I don't know how I'd done this. There's so much more that I'm missing out, but it's pointless telling you. It's like telling someone a fucking half remembered dream in a way. But I'd lost my lighter. I've got like a Zippo, a Sons of Anarchy Zippo that I've had for like 5 years, and it holds vague sentimental value. Whoa! Oh, hey, Laguffa. I thought my sweats moved there, but it's my cat. Um, yeah, and I'd lost it, And I thought, you know what? As much as I love that lighter and blah blah blah, if that's the cost, if that's the price I have to pay to move right now and to start heading in a direction that I feel better about myself, because I was, had it happened by this? It must have happened by this point. I had a complete psychotic break. 100%. I fucking the the cheese slid off my cracker. I was, and what happened is I the only way to, and I know I said something like this in the start of the podcast, but it's to relate it to a computer system. Like, you get a brand new laptop and it's quick as fuck. You start going on websites and they've got cookies, it takes up little bits of information, and you've got videos and, videos of fireworks for Guy Fawkes 2 years ago that you're never going to watch again, but they're just taking up space. You've just got random shit, and it clogs up your computer and it slows down after time. You pick up malware, you pick up viruses, you pick up all kinds of shit. But then, like, it's as if what happened was they were going to reboot their computer, so they took all the files that they needed, put it on an external hard drive, reset the computer to factory settings, and then transferred everything back onto it, their videos or their their memories. And that's what happened to me when everything went hyper fucking zing. That was the transfer. I think that was everything getting transferred to an external hard drive, and then they rebooted the system, factory reset back to nothing. And then as it was starting up, it didn't have any of the previous fucking documents or files or any of that kind of shit, and it started up just as an operating system again, as it was initially, without all the input that it had. And that was a scary bit. I remember clearly thinking, I've broken myself. I'm gonna have to go back and explain to everybody that I can't do anything anymore. I felt, and I know this is a bad word, but I felt so retarded. It was not even funny. And I'm like, this must be what severe mental health conditions feel like. And trying to explain, it was like, oh man, there was just lag. That's the best way to describe it. There was lag. And it was like lag, like exactly like in Call of Duty, if you're walking and someone comes in and shoots, and then you try and shoot them, but then there's lag and it starts jerking and you don't know what's happening, but then it smooths out again, and like four other guys have came in and shot you while you were standing. It wasn't like that. I didn't get shot, but that's how it felt at the start. And then when it started up again, the system had rebooted. I had none of the stuff that had built up, none of my files, none of my documents, none of my videos, none of my pictures, none of my memories, none of my whatever. But then they get transferred back in, but somewhere along the line they'd been filtered, they'd been streamlined, they'd been compressed, they'd been, defragged, whatever the fuck. And say it was 10 gig worth of shit that came out. 8 gig of that was unimportant stuff that I'll never use again, or it was system data that had been collected, all that kind of shit. Unimportant to the operation of the laptop, Say I need that laptop for Word, editing video, and internet, that's it. Anything else that's not related to that, I don't need it. It slows down the computer. And that's what mushrooms do to you, and that's what it done to me. Complete system reboot, and then the files that were transferred back in were just the ones that are key to my task, my program, my fucking programming. And it's so refreshing, you just lose anxieties, you lose the need to pander to people, you lose insecurity, and you gain just, it's not even confidence. It's just like, all right, this is who I am, this is why I am, and this is who I'm meant to be. it's just utter complete acceptance of self, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. But I literally had to be turned inside out in order to see myself, you know? So I went on the move, and I was moving through the woods, but it was so strange. It was as if I wasn't walking and seeing what was in front of me. It was as if I was heading in the direction that was being projected by my memory. Like, I know where those woods are, I know where I was, but it wasn't as if I was walking up the path. It was as if my mind was projecting the last time I walked up the path, but it was using that to get me there this time. I don't know if that makes sense, but it made sense at the time. It's what was happening. It's how I was perceiving like forward motion. It was bizarre. So had some fucking sketchy times. I honestly don't know how I'm good. Like, I've got a couple of scratches and stuff, but how I didn't like get killed by a cow or something. There was a couple of times where I was interacting with cows in fields and trying to talk to them and just let them know that everything's okay. I'm good. Are you good? Are you good? I'm good. I'm very good. And all this kind of shit. Yeah, it was an insane fucking trip, and 10 out of 10 I would recommend it. I do not get how, there'll be people that will watch this and be like, why the fuck would you want to do that? Go down the woods and fucking take drugs and trip balls? And it's like, why the fuck would you want to go to a pub and drink fucking vodka to the point that you're fucking, nah, I can't, nah, nah. And then you've got a fucking hangover the next day? Like, yeah, I went through some fucking squirrely fucking shit. There was a couple of moments where, I didn't think I was coming back, but 2 hours later, I was on top of the fucking world. And it's not like an ecstasy thing where it's like, oh, your fucking dopamine and serotonin or whatever the fuck's been dumped in. There may be that kind of effect, but these are natural fucking mushrooms that are a gift. A fucking gift from not just Mother Earth, but the universe itself. And people would rather go out and get fucking wrecked on drink and stumble. And yeah, there's plenty of stumbling and incoherent speech in this, but it's coming from an incredibly happy and enlightened place, not from a fucking, oh, I've just consumed litres and pints of poison and fucking, it's fucking up my equilibrium, do you know what I mean? But anyway, who am I to judge anyone for anything? So, have I said everything I need to say? I mean, it ended up, yeah, so I lost my lighter, but I was okay with it, and then I went off down the woods and I was trying to make my way home, and I ended up feeling better and better and coming back round the background, so I just ended up adding more and more legs onto my adventure, and I went and had joints and sat in different places and what have you, meditated with my organite and just felt really, really good. And then I thought to myself, you know what, I'm going back to that fucking spot, I'm finding my fucking lighter because it must be there, and I'm going to sit and I'm going to watch the fucking sunset and smoke a doobie, because I was sitting there 3 hours ago and I couldn't roll a joint. So I'm going to go back there, going to sit down and triumphantly look at the fucking sun and just think, what a day, what a fucking day. And that's why that's filmed in this video in a time lapse, because it was a very special moment for me. So that will wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen. This bit anyway. I did do a little recap when I first came back from the woods, but I thought I would film another bit that would go in after that, but I'm sure that bit ends okay, so just when that video ends, that's the end of the video. So I hope you enjoy it, and I'll catch you in the next one. What's going on, guys? I think I've found my spot. Check this out. It was important to me that I could see a lot of sky. Like, the woods are pretty thick, and I could have went somewhere, with lots of overhanging foliage and that kind of stuff. But when I was in Amsterdam 2 years ago, I had a great experience on truffles, and when I was looking up at the sky, it was like I could swirl the clouds and change colours and stuff. It was epic. So we've got a big bit of sky there, nice trees. Gonna hang the hammock off this bad boy, and then over here just got all them trees down there to sit and stare at and you know, see how it goes. So trying to eat some fungi. Now they came pre-ground, which is kind of cool because sometimes eating mushrooms is a harsh business, but at the same time I enjoy eating an actual mushroom because I don't know, you have a connection with it. Like, I've never had mushrooms like in a fry up or, you know, like eaten mushrooms. The only mushrooms I've ever had are psilocybin, which is a strange little fact. So that's 5 grams of pre-ground psilocybin mushrooms. Now I don't know if I'm just going to pour this in and swallow it. We'll see how it goes. I won't film just now because I might need to concentrate. There is a lot of bugs here though, that's the only thing. I'm sure it'll be fine. We'll be friends by the end of this. Right, so I'll see you in a bit. I'm not going to film too much though because I need to keep battery, because never know what might happen. See you in a bit. What's going on, guys? It's been 10 minutes, 12 minutes since I consumed the shroom. It was disgusting, absolutely disgusting. With it being pre-ground, as soon as I poured it into my mouth it turned into like a powder, and yeah, it was not nice, but I got them down because that's the magic right there. And now I'm just out in the sun, barefoot, grounded, top off, radiating, loving life, waiting to see what happens. Got the hammock set up. It's kind of set up more like a swing than an actual hammock, but got that set up in case I want some relaxation. And now we'll just see where the day takes us. See you in a bit. What's going on, guys? So we're like 40 minutes in now, and I feel really good. Maybe starting to get some visuals. It's just such a beautiful day though, it's kind of hard to tell, you know. Usually if you look at your skin, that's quite a good indication. Yeah, I'd definitely say I'm tripping out. Just a little bit. But yeah, I feel good. Smoke a couple of doobies, I'll smoke a couple more. Might actually move to somewhere where it's not as windy, somewhere a bit more enclosed. We'll see where we go. What's going on? So, tried trying my first doobie, which was hilarious. I should have filmed it. It was really funny. Probably only for reasons I would understand right now. Yeah. I'm feeling it. It feels good. I can't exactly explain what it is, but it feels good. I'll report back in a bit. What's going on, guys? So, I'm an hour into an exceptional I don't know why, but I need to keep the cameras rolling.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to say anything or just laugh my fucking ass off. Or words even fucking. We're like an hour into this, and I can't stop laughing. Every time I can. Oh, every time I see it's just imagine someone coming up and going to him. Oh shit. I'm an hour into this. Oh my god. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah. Oh my god. Right. Okay. I need to stop laughing. I don't know how. I don't know how to stop laughing. Oh shit. Right. Oh my god. What a problem to have. What a fucking problem. Oh. I hope I don't run out of battery. This is fucking hilarious. Oh my god. Oh. Everybody needs to see this. Every fucking... every fucking human being on the planet with any fucking anxiety, whatever the fuck. Holy shit. 5 grams of dried mushrooms and we'll see you on the other side. What's going on, guys? Whew, I ain't gonna lie, things get a little fucking dicey for a bit there, ladies and gents. Your uncle Lee fucking spent some time in a wee time bubble, shall we say, and trying to roll a joint, I can't even fucking begin to talk about what a fucking effort that was. You know what, I'll put in, I feel incredible right now. I can't even fucking begin to describe how just woo, you know, just completely fucking rejuvenated and you know, there's so many people that are like, I'm not gonna fucking advocate drugs, you know, it's people get fucked up on drugs, and I ain't gonna lie, for a second there I thought, holy shit, this is me. I have fucked myself up here. What is that? I don't even know. Yeah, there was a second I thought, oh, I have committed myself to the funny farm right now. But what you realise is, it's, I mean, you take shrooms like that, it just removes the filter, it removes the, you know, I can't even fucking, I just feel great right now, honestly, rejuvenated, shall we say. And it was questionable for a while there, like even 10 fucking minutes ago I went through some fucking real, like I'll explain it when I sit back down, but it was just like, I knew where I was, and I was so worried that if someone had came across me at this point, they would think I was some fucking stumbling idiot, and it was like, yo, I know where I am, I know who I am, I'm just fucking tripping balls and shrooms right now, do you understand that? I don't even know what I'm saying, but yeah, it's been a wild ride. It's been a fucking wild ride. Woo! What's going on, guys? I don't know if you can see just how absolutely beautiful this spot is, but there we go. Beautiful. I feel so good right now. It's not even funny. Woo! What's going on, guys? I'm still like, oh, it got trippy there for a bit. I'm still kind of fucking trippy now looking at this. Yeah, I just wanted you to see just how incredibly beautiful this is. I love this moment right now. Yeah. What's going on, guys? So earlier on, I completely lost my ability to roll a joint. Now this is something that I have done hundreds of thousands of times, and I just could not process how to roll a joint. How do you do it? Had I ever done it before? Like, I don't know. But yeah, so I also lost my lighter, and I had a whole thing. I couldn't find my skins, and then I couldn't comprehend what a skin was, other than the fact I knew I needed them, and it was hilarious. So now I'm gonna do a wee time lapse. I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna smoke my fucking divvy because I earned it. What's going on, guys? So I'm gonna head home. That's me done for the day. I'm gonna roll 2 joints. I'm gonna walk home barefoot through the fucking fields. And what a day, what a trip, what a fucking experience, what a, you know, like it's going to take some digesting, but like it was as if you were just getting broken down and then rebuilt up, and you got to choose at each point exactly how you were going to be in the next second, the next instant, the next moment. So bizarre. I'll try and make more sense of it at some point, but I'm going to head home. I'm going to eat. I'm going to smoke some weed, and I'm just going to feel fucking good, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, it's been emotional.
What's going on, guys? I'm back. 9.5 hours later. It was a fucking trip. I'll tell you that. I'll do a longer trip report, if you can even call it that. Like, I ain't gonna lie, boys and girls, I had a complete psychotic break. That's the only thing that comes close to describing what I went through. There was time, I got stuck in a time loop that was just unbelievable, unfucking believable. There was a bit I thought I died, and then I was in like a purgatory kind of thing, and then I was rebooted, you know, like a computer, exactly like a computer, and my memories, and like my computing power and my everything was rebooted. And oh, sorry, before it was rebooted, it blue screened. I fucking blue screened completely, man. Complete, total disassociation with myself. I had no idea what a person was, let alone me being one. And everything was stripped away. Complete stripped away identity, ego. Everything was just stripped the fuck away, and then it was rebooted. But I got to see each level of consciousness being programmed or integrated, or it was like I went out of reality and then came back in, and I had to readjust to that. It was a trip. I feel worn out. I feel like my feet are disgusting. I was fucking just walking through fields barefoot. My legs are tore up. I am stung in so many places. I'm so dehydrated. It is unreal. Like, it was so warm, and I'm out there topless, rolling around, fucking just getting right with the Lord, you know. And I am worn out. I am used up, but I am rejuvenated. I am revitalized. I am reborn. I am.
Do you want this up the stairs?
I'll be down in a second, Mama. Right. My mum is cutting me up some nice bread, some French stick. Yeah, I've got a bath. I'll go dip in and just wash it all off. My hair, you have no idea how matted, how fucking tuggy, how many beasties are in there, but I do not care. I usually, like, I'll tie my hair back in like a bun, or sometimes I'll braid it in like a fucking Viking ponytail thing. But see, just I don't care anymore. I am so just fucking the ego, the because I mean, you can look at ego in a couple of different ways. You can look at it as like being egotistical, but then your ego is also, you know, your projection of who you think you are in relation to other people, and oh, they'll think that, but I don't know. It's hard to fucking put it into words, but I know how I feel on the inside, and it's yeah, dicey as fuck. Probably should have done that myself but at the same time, I'm so happy I did it by myself and came out just fucking here again. And ladies and gents, I'm so glad you're here for this journey. Like, I've not even watched the footage back yet, but I know some of the shit. I don't know where I'm going to put this video, if you've already seen stuff or what the fuck, but ah. And to the people that have been watching so far, like, watch what I do from here on out. Like, in terms of just fucking making something of myself. Like, I've got so many facets: free running, um, stand up comedy. I'm doing stand up comedy and I'm gonna fucking do it well. The band, like music, acting. So the podcast, like Rogan just sold his podcast for 100 million. Spotify, throw me a number. Don't need to be anywhere near that big, but you know, throw a number out at a rising star. Because, ladies and gents, that's exactly what I am, a rising star. And I swear to God, there's going to be, might be 5 years from now, it might be 10 years from now, but I'm going to be fucking sitting getting interviewed by whoever, and they're going to be saying, Ollie, what's your secret? How did you do it? And I'm going to be like, yo, go back and watch the podcast. It's that fucking simple. I started with nothing, absolutely nothing, and I laid out exactly what I was going to do, and then I went out and done it. You can go back. I told you how I was doing this, you know. There's no fucking secret. I'll take you through it step by step by step by step by step, and it's just, the world is whatever the fuck you want it to be. It's that simple, and I want my world to be incredible. I want my world to be fucking legendary. I've done jobs, I've fucking worked for people and companies and all that kind of shit, and it ain't for me. Ain't for me. Some people might think, oh, you need to work, you need to do 9 to 5, whatever. No. Mm-mm. Watch what I do. Watch what I put work into it, and watch how much fucking money it makes me. In fact, like, money's, it's such a fucked up thing. Like, there's stuff I need money to do. It's that fucking simple. Like, I'm a filmmaker, and the shit that I've wrote, to execute it in the way that it deserves, because I can't take credit for the fucking ideas that I have. They are from the ether, they are from the fucking, you know, the muse, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I'm just fucking a vessel for this kind of shit. But the films that I've wrote, like especially 3 of them, The Atrocity Exhibition, Am I Dreaming, and Lucidity, they're fucking epic movies. They are Nolan fucking level shit. I ain't lying. I ain't fucking. I'm done. Like, oh, do you think this is alright? I know it's fucking good. It's that fucking simple. I know that the shit I've wrote is fucking, is good, but it takes money to do that. So I'll make money, and I'll make fucking shitloads of money, and I'll do it in a way that, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just rambling now, but it will all make sense. That's, you know, I'll be able to look back at this and be like, yep, you didn't know exactly where or what was going to happen, but this is the genesis. It's the birth. It's the regenesis. It's a rebirth. I mean, holy shit! I've already been pointing in the right direction, but now it's like fucking pointing in the right direction with rocket fucking turbo boosters. I'm done playing. I am done playing small. Like, I know I've said this on the podcast before, but I'll say it one more time. It's the quote that says, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that others won't feel insecure around you. We were all meant to shine, as children do. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give others permission to do the same, as they are liberated from their own fear. And that's what I'm going to do, ladies and gents. I am going to be a beacon of inspiration in the same light Rogan is. I'm not going I'm not going to seek out to inspire people. I'm going to live my best life, and people will see that and they will be inspired. It's that fucking simple. It's that simple. There's so many people that are doing nothing. You know, oh, I've had a great idea for a movie. Oh yeah, I should maybe write that down one day. I've wrote them down. That's one step fucking closer. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, I should sign up. Oh, maybe I would be an extra. I'd like to be an actor. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, maybe blah, blah. I went for it. Ended up fucking working in Game of Thrones, the biggest fucking shit ever fucking made, biggest battle ever fucking filmed. I was there. I've got that experience. I've got that fucking, just fucking, I was there. That experience, you know, ex-military fucking free running. Just, there's so much shit that I've done, but that's just scratching the fucking surface of what I'm going to do. You know, and this might sound arrogant, egotist, whatever the fuck, but it's not. I'm saying this because I have no ego, because I can put it out there and tell you just what the fuck I'm gonna do with no bells and whistles, or, you know, I ain't trying to impress anybody. I'm trying to impress me. That's what we're doing from here on out. I'm trying to impress me. Holy shit, how the fuck did you pull this one off? That is what I'm riding on, because I've already fucking done it countless fucking times. But now it's streamlined. It's fucking. It's. Yeah, I need to go for a bath and chill the fuck out, smoke a fat ass doobie, and then go to sleep. I'm playing Spider-Man tomorrow. But yeah, I cannot wait to see this episode, man. The ups, the downs, the ins, the outs, the fucking everything. It has been a trip.